Good morning and welcome to BIFA Link TV, your daily dose of industry information. Today we welcome back Sharon Hammond and we're here today to talk about BIFA Freight Service Awards. Now we know that award-winning entry takes time and planning, so here are our top tips for securing that award-winning entry. First of all, Sharon, we have choosing the category. That's so important, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, we've got 9 business categories for companies to choose from, and it is important that they choose the correct category for their case study.
Sure.
So do go to the website, read through the category descriptions and make sure that you're pitching your entry in the right category. There are some rules. We do say that you can only enter 3 categories and each entry has to be unique.
Sure.
So you can't think, oh, well, I'll pop this one in the air freight plus the extra mile plus the specialist services.
Sure.
We want different entries in each category, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also it's important to speak to your customers and also your colleagues around you about putting forward that case study.
That's right. If your case study involves a particular customer, you need to get their buy-in. You need to get their permission as well.
Sure.
To discuss the work that you're doing with them. Because obviously, if you are a finalist, if you are a winner, there's going to be a lot of publicity about that. And we'd love everybody to be involved. So get your customers involved and talk to all your colleagues at all stages of the project that you're writing about.
Sure. And this next one is something we find year on year, is something we tell our members every single year to do, is to give themselves time to do it. No rushing.
Yeah, we give you plenty of time to get your entries in. And use that time. Take some time to think about what points you want to make. Draft a few words, gradually build up the flesh on those bones, and then put it to one side, leave it for a couple of days, have another read through of it, think about how it reads, how it flows, and then share it with people.
Yeah.
Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your colleagues. Share it with other people in the office who are not involved. Does it make sense to somebody who doesn't actually know the project you're talking about?
Sure.
Because, of course, the judges don't know the project and they will need you to explain it to them.
Sure.
So, yeah, give yourself plenty of time.
Of course, definitely. Something we find every year, isn't it? We just want to make sure our members, give themselves plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is to ensure the entry follows the guidelines. We have guidelines for each category, don't we?
That's right. Yeah. So there are category descriptions which give an indication of what the judges are looking for. And then all of the business categories follow the same format. There's an introduction that you need to fill out. Then there's the body of the entry. And then there's a summary.
Sure.
So the introduction is 300 words. The body of the entry, 600 words, and the final conclusion is 100 words. So 1,000 words in total. It's not too onerous. Get the information on paper and then send it in to us.
And talking of the words, using that word count, using it to its full advantage.
Yeah. Use the 1,000 words. Don't go over the 1,000 words because we won't continue reading forever. At the first stage of the entry process, it is just that application form with the 1,000 words. So make sure you've used them to your advantage, written what you want to write. Reread it, make sure you haven't repeated things because then you're wasting words. Take your time and write it out clearly and get it into us.
Sure. And just something we touched on earlier, another key one as well, is not rushing to submit that entry, like as you alluded to earlier.
Yeah. Draft it out, spend some time, put it to one side, ignore it for a while, then have a reread of it, think about how it flows, and as we say, talk to your colleagues, get other people to read it and see if they can make sense of it.
There may be some additional details that might come out after submitting, but if it's already gone in, there's no going back, is there?
That's it. Or talking to somebody else, they say, well, hold on, but you didn't mention that. That was a really good point in the project we did. So refine it after a few days and then submit it when you're ready.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Our next tip is to enlist the help of our colleagues to get involved in it. I know we alluded it a little bit earlier, but
Yeah,
it's not just proofreading, is it?
That's right. We've already said colleagues have a different perspective on what you've been working on. So there's always going to be little extras that they can add in. They may point out that something had to happen first before we could get to the final stage. So yeah, enlist your colleagues, get their input, and then get their help with the proofreading and the sense of it.
Yeah. And our last tip, which is actually the most important one of all, really.
Don't miss the deadline.
Here we go. Don't miss the deadline.
Yes.
And when is our deadline?
The deadline is Wednesday, the 2nd of October.
Yeah.
11 a.m. if we're being strict.
Yep.
Yep.
Which we have been.
Yes. Get your entries to us by Wednesday, the 11th of October, please.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharon. So there we go. There's all those tips for you. If you do need some more help with your entry, you can always go onto our awards websites where we'll have all these tips we've just run through, plus all the entry forms and all of the entry guidelines as well. That's all for today's episode of BIFA Link TV, your daily dose of industry information.